You are only repeating what I am saying myself, that after the Chief Justice yesterday's statement, is unlikely to do it. Because he is said so.
No, I'm very glad that you agree that this is not possible and this should not be done. If that be the case, then we don't need to argue any further.
That this is such a gross case that the spirit of what the previous speaker said must be understood. Now, I'm on a different point.
Dr. Singhi, why is it a gross case?
Arnab,
why is it a gross case when a government exercises its power and its options? As much as the UPA government has considered and exercised its options in this entire procedure which has been set down by the constitution as interpreted by the court, where the government has a decisive role in this entire process, do you want to take away the government's role?
I'll tell you why immediately.
The government has no role.
Sorry,
I'll tell you why immediately.
No. I'd like to.
The government.
I'd like
Arnab.
No, Dr. Singh, I've heard you and I find that there are
neither on facts nor in law excised the procedure.
Sir, I'll tell you.
The government is neither on fact nor in law.
Sir, 1 minute. The Chief Justice of India has
told to you just now by Mr. Sundaram, and the facts are known that the reason was the sole sin of Mr. Subramaniam in appearing as amicus. Now,
Dr.
therefore,
Singh, you would be very happy to bring about any reason which would create a conflict.
Segregation is well known. This is not a case of segregation.
Would you say the other people's names who've been recommended have any allegiance to the government? Or would you say they are not independent? What would you say about the other?
That is a very typical digressive, diverting argument.
This entire 2 plus 2
you are now digressing to other people. Please answer the Subramaniam point.
Where does this entire logic come from?
Sir, I'd like to point the attention, and Aryaman Sundaram has been named here.
Mr. Subramaniam.
I want to point out here that even Justice Sathasivam, when he was the Chief Justice of India, said that the government is part of the consultative process. He even said that the inputs of the law ministry and agencies like the Intelligence Bureau are taken into consideration before a decision is made. So since the government is part of the consultative process, it has put its view forward. And it is up to the Supreme Court to accept or reject it. Now, I don't understand, Dr. Singhvi, unless today you only want to make a political point, why are you crying yourself hoarse over interference with judicial independence? And yes,
it's obvious
from Satyapal
that you are being the devil's advocate, Arnab.
Mr. Manu Abhishek Singhvi, can I put you just one question?
The issue is that they are fully part of the consultative process to the limited extent of
that Government of India has sent any case for reconsideration, or such things have been happening earlier also? Is it for the first time? Number two, you must be aware of one case where the Supreme Court quashed the appointment of a High Court judge. And the Justice Kuldeep Singh in his judgment, which is reported in 1992, said, we are surprised as to how did many things which ultimately they found were sufficient to quash the appointment of a High Court judge, Mr. Srivastava. You must be aware of that judgment 1992. Even after the consultation, the Supreme Court found that the person appointed was not qualified to be a judge. These things have been happening earlier also. Why are you objecting for the first time? And the way Congress party is pleading the case of Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, I think you are yourself spoiling his whole case.
Arnab,
Dr. Singh,
you need Dr. Singh, law here. You need a little bit of law here. Two very quick points. Please don't get digressed. It's ridiculous to cite Srivastav's case, or as lawyers understand, a person who is not qualified in that he is less than the age prescribed, or has done less than the number of years to be an advocate, if his name is proposed as a judge, there is a writ of quo warranto which lies, which means that he is not qualified. As far as the consultative process is concerned, please don't interrupt me for a minute, please don't interrupt me. The joint consultative process is of course there to the limited extent that the Government of India can send the whole list back. They never send the whole list back. Therefore, the joint consultative process has been violated by the Government of India.
Sir, I feel tonight, and Dr. Singhvi, you asked me why am I listening to you with so much keenness.
Then you would have pointed out that why are you not making other 3 appointments? Why are you delaying the whole panel? Then this would have been the argument against the Government of India that you want to withhold the
misunderstanding of the process.
Today Abhishek Manu Singhvi has painted himself into a corner. I'll tell you why. Because Abhishek Manu Singhvi, in my view, has painted himself into a corner. And I'm saying this, I have deep personal professional respect for his abilities. My question here is, he says segregation is not an issue. The Chief Justice of India's grouse is the segregation of files. But consider this, and I'm putting this to Aryaman Sundaram first. In the case of Justice C.K. Prasad in 2009, the Supreme Court Collegium had forwarded the names of Justice Swatantra Kumar and C.K. Prasad to the government. Government returned the file pertaining to C.K. Prasad. I don't know the rules, whereas Swatantra Kumar's file was forwarded for appointment. Wasn't that segregation? Of course it was segregation. Do I know why the government returned that file? I don't know. Your government also expressed a view in the Justice Dinakaran case when you returned his file back to the Collegium, citing allegations of land encroachment after it had nominated him for the post of a Supreme Court judge in December 2009. Ultimately, Aryavan Sundaram, it is for the Supreme Court to decide what is to be done and weigh the credibility of the government's view.
May I just add one thing? It's not a waiting list starting from 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 recommendations against 4 separate vacancies.
Can I finish what I'm saying, or would the other gentleman like to finish? Look, Arnab, there is absolutely no doubt that the government has every right, and I would go further, has a duty to give its view on the matter. There is absolutely no doubt about that. But there is a well laid down procedure which is to be followed. Now here, if you decide to say, I am going to segregate in that I am disapproving X, I approve the others and I'm sending them on for the warrants to be issued without even a consultative process for such segregation with the Chief Justice, I feel that is erroneous. And why was that done? All that needed to have been, allow me to finish, please. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish.
Is there any process which requires consultation to happen?
Excuse me, just let me finish.
No.
Now, the point here is a very, very simple issue. You have a list of names. You have an objection to a given name. Whatever your objections may be, it may be well-founded, may not be. Send it back to the Chief Justice and say, look, we have a problem with this particular name. Not segregate it, leak the news to the media, come out with why you're not approving X, Y, Z. All this comes out in the media. The Supreme Court, the Chief Justice is not in the country. All this is done. Why? Why? What for? Why create this unnecessary, unseemly situation? All that needed to have been done was it could have been very structurally done. And that is why I started by saying it is a flexing of muscles by the government.
By September, 5, 6 more vacancies are arising in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court strength would have been reduced practically to half had the government not recommended all these 3 recommenders and nominees.
No, one sec. Satyapal Jain, be practical tonight.
Yes.
What viewers want to know is what really is the government's immense problem with Gopal Subramaniam? A, that they refuse to interact with the Supreme Court Collegium. B, all this is done when the court is on vacation. C, there are a series of reports all sourced in some way or the other to the government because it is Intelligence Bureau reports, etc., etc. And it is pushed through, explanations not given. Now, you want us to believe, Satyapal Jain, this is not because Gopal Subramaniam was against Amit Shah.
No.
You expect people to believe it is not because of that.
May I clarify
do you agree, Mr. Satyapal Jain, do you agree that your government has behaved in an unnatural manner? Okay, you are the right process, but you have an unnatural keenness to keep Gopal Subramaniam out.
No.
Would you at least admit that and then tell me what is the basis of that?
My government has behaved in a fashion in which it could do, it should do, and it has done. It has only some reservations, some reports about one of the nominees. It has approved all the 3 and sent back the 4th for reconsideration.
Have any of the other 3 been amicus curiae in the Amit Shah case?
Knowing it very well.
He is the only one who has been amicus curiae in the Amit Shah case.
Was the Solicitor General in the UPA regime.
There is no requirement of sending all the 4 back.
Solicitor General in the
we have no objection against the other 3.
I don't know why this theory cannot be intertwined around him too.
Earlier also, if out of the 2 you prove 1, you send the appointee for signing the warrant of appointment to the President.
Sir, please be logical.
And if some clarification is needed,
sir, please be logical.
My government has sent back for reconsideration
sir, please be logical.
By 9 judges bench of the Supreme Court.
Sir, please be logical and have some sympathy for me tonight.
It's not because of any of his cases.
Have some sympathy for me tonight. Sandwiched on the program between 6 eminent lawyers. I am trying to be devil's advocate with 6 lawyers, 3 on either side. Consider the timeline of events. The Collegium's nominations forwarded to the government on May 6th. It is around the middle of June when the file is still with the executive that we see the CBI's findings being leaked. Then we find findings of another IB report being leaked. Then we see the CJI receive the government's opinion coming to Sanjay Hegde on June 8th. Why should I, Sanjay Hegde, not believe that these leaks and findings are clearly motivated to create a controversy over Gopal Subramaniam's appointment? That's all.
Arnab, what were the leaks required
these leaks
for?
were clearly
to create a controversy over a man who otherwise has a good reputation.
That Gopal Subramaniam withdrew. Can I be heard, Pinky? Can I be heard, Pinky? The question was that you do not like Gopal Subramaniam. You did not want to communicate to the government that you found him unacceptable, and consequently you adopted the sneaky behavior of continually having IB leaks saying that he is so and so, he is so and so, he does
Sanjay,
this, that and the other. Where is a man to endure all this? How is he to know that tomorrow you will not say he beats his wife, he does this or he does something else?
Or is it simply the holier statement made?
This is not a process of consultation with the judiciary. This was a process of demonizing a candidate. That is where I join issue with this government.
And before the Supreme Court considers, he withdraws his name. That is the end of the matter.
Which it has done. So where is the requirement which you are adding in this one step in the middle of everything to say there must be consultation by the government before the government sends back the file to the collegium, with the collegium prior to sending it back? How many times do you expect this entire process to be done, and why is it for the first time this is being voiced in this particular fashion in this particular case?
No,
Secondly,
that is because the collegium made one recommendation of 4 names.
The files did come up during vacation
split
periods.
the collegium's recommendation. Who are you? You are not part of the collegium.
The collegium sent it in the middle of May. Sorry?
Pinky, the government is not part of the collegium. The collegium has to be consulted. The collegium made a recommendation. If the government had a problem with that recommendation,
let us get a proposition very clear.
It was one recommendation of 4 names. If the government had a problem with that recommendation,
it back to the collegium.
It had to come back to the collegium.
By any standard, nor was it intended.
I don't know what are you suggesting. Are you suggesting that even before sending back the case to the collegium, the government must first consult the collegium, then send back the case to the collegium? I don't know what are you talking.
There can't be a conversation. Show me a rule book which says there can't be a conversation where the government has a conversation with the Chief Justice of India.
If you have a problem with the collegium's recommendation of 4 names, it is not up to you to unilaterally act.
Is there a breakdown of communication?
We will split your recommendation.
One second.
The issue is segregation should not have been done without the Chief Justice being in the know.
So you realize the
without the Chief Justice being brought into confidence, the segregation ought not to have been done.
Proposition of saying there must be consultation before, there must be consultation after. Where is the case?
Sorry, that is not what is being said.
Consulted the government prior to sending the names?
That is not what is being said. What is being said is, before you should keep the Chief Justice in the loop when you are planning a segregation.
Exactly.
You are making a segregation.
Keep the government in the loop before the names were
with
sent.
Your comment,
you
are doing a unilateral
How
segregation.
How many will you add on?
That must be done by keeping the Chief Justice
and when segregation happened earlier,
otherwise, what you're basically saying is, look, we are a separate entity, you are a separate entity, we have a right, we will exercise our rights. That is not how the different wings of government are to function.
1 minute. You see the consequence of this.
Very good to advise.
Ford and Yuza viewers tonight. I want to go back to Mr. Abad Ponda.
Are you suggesting that the appointments, all the appointments will not be made? Every appointment will be held.
So that is not the suggestion, but I want to know, is there something called telephones, faxes, emails, SMSs? Can you pick up the phone and tell the Chief Justice of India, this is not about buying ice cream. This is a serious matter about the appointment of a Supreme Court judge. So my question is, Abad Ponda, if it is a serious matter, do you think the government can't communicate with the Chief Justice and say that these are our apprehensions? And then the Chief Justice can give his point of view and you can consensually arrive at some kind of a conclusion.
Arnab, also before you segregate, you should keep the Chief Justice in the loop. You cannot unilaterally segregate.
You cannot.
No, that is not the requirement.
No. So you are
telephone conversation.
Oh, you can do anything as the government. The government can try to do anything. The fact is, what is the purpose of it? Unless you're going to lead to a conflict.
When the Chief Justice
coming to you, Dr. Singhvi.
Why have a process? Just have telephone conversations between the collegium and the state government and the government, and let it be by means of telephone conversations.
And tomorrow we will say that by telephoning, the executive is trying to influence the decision of the Supreme Court.
No, you can have a conversation. You want to have a breakdown of communication? You want to be in a state of war?
See the correspondence between
you want to break faith between institutions.
What does that mean? It means that there's a recommendation by the collegium, it has to be accepted by the
Okay, what's Abad Ponda, please?
government can have no say in the matter. Is that the argument that you are trying to
collegium
put
reasserted, reiterated?
There is absolutely no doubt.
So why are we debating this? No, Satyapal Jain, why we are debating this today for what?
There is absolutely no doubt.
The Chief Justice of India says if the independence of the judiciary is put under a doubt or a threat, then I will quit. I mean, this is not even the suggestion that the Chief Justice of India may think of quitting is a very, 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 very serious matter. It's not a joke anymore. This is one of the biggest clashes we have seen in decades between the government and the judiciary. Abad Ponda.
Arnab, there is absolutely no doubt that the government can put forth their views to the Supreme Court Collegium as well as to the Chief Justice about any reservations that they have about a particular person to be elevated to the Supreme Court. There is absolutely no doubt that they can do so. The problem here is the manner in which it is done. When the Chief Justice is abroad, the method in which this is communicated in the press, and the gentleman concerned has been literally made to feel that he's committed some crime by accepting an amicus brief and taking it to the hilt to the best of his ability. It has led to a very sorry state of affairs where a wrong signal is being sent. Communication in a healthy manner is always wanted in a democracy. But communication which necessarily targets and singles out an individual, rather than having the spirit of communication, is communication more to single out a person because of something that he may have done in his good faith, good belief that he's doing his job correctly, as the Solicitor General then necessarily sends a very bad signal.
Going to the press. Had he not done so, things would not have been complicated to that extent.
You now want to blame Gopal Subramaniam for acting in a hurry also. Okay, Abhishek Manu Singhvi.
He should not have gone to the press. He should not have written a letter to the Chief Justice. He should have allowed the procedure to go on and complete full circle.
This is like blaming the victim.
Well, if you've not gone to the press, you've not been embarrassed. That's what you want. Dr. Singhvi.
Arnab, I think the points are very simple. If we don't want to recognize them, it's up to us. Let the viewers make a choice. There is a legal aspect and there is a factual aspect. The factual context and sequence of events, most of which you have mentioned, is in fact the more important. Please remember one crucial fact. The view of the then opposition and the present ruling party and one of its most senior persons articulating that view is in the public domain in a letter officially available, where Mr. Subramaniam is said to be against Mr. Modi. 1 minute now, please let me complete.
You are imputing
this happened 3 years ago, that letter. That shows thereafter that the moment Mr. Gopal Subramaniam's name came.
Show me a paper.
Mr. Manu Abhishek Singhvi.
This is a public domain. It's been public in
show
newspapers.
Me a piece of paper which says that individual letter. Show me a piece of paper. Who is the individual you're talking about? And show me a piece of paper which says that individual.
Mr. Jaitley has officially written. Don't pretend ignorance now, Arnab. Mr. Jaitley, listen to me, please.
But did Mr.
Jaitley has written officially?
Can
I please? I'm saying something else. Please listen to me.
The decision of Gopal Subramaniam to withdraw.
I don't know where you're going, Arnab. I'm talking of the North Pole. You're talking of the South Pole. Please allow me for half a minute.
I am not. It's Gopal Subramaniam.
I am saying that Mr. Jaitley, who is one of the senior most persons, 3 years ago, when this case as amicus was done by Gopal Subramaniam, wrote to the then Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh saying that Gopal harbors an animus against Mr. Modi.
But the
that is on the record in the letter.
Himself said
now
that Gopal
today, when the Chief Justice Collegium sends a letter, sends a recommendation, that animus comes forth.
Singhvi, why don't
and
you
this whole series of
speculative.
I'm talking about a letter. You're speculative. There's a letter.
Why was he forced to resign?
Okay, gentlemen.
There's a letter
of the Supreme Court.
Okay, now you know
what. Talking of committed judiciary, not the BJP.
Okay, now as I wrap up, I'm saying this, the Chief Justice of India has himself said that he asked Gopal Subramaniam to reconsider the withdrawal of his nomination, yet Gopal Subramaniam reiterates his decision to opt out. It is not the government that is responsible for the appointment not going ahead, not the judiciary, but Gopal Subramaniam himself. If Gopal Subramaniam has stuck his ground, he would have become a Supreme Court judge. But he has responded to this by the virtue of his own emotions. He feels hurt about this. But I don't know where the story is going to go, but let's follow it up later. I'm short of time. I thank you very much. There's been a really good chat on this subject on the News Hour tonight. Thank you.